Welcome to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. This show is all about honoring you as a spiritual being, having a human experience. You are here for a reason, and it's no mistake that you are here on earth right now. Spirit has guided you to this very moment in time, so you could hear the messages Pam is about to share with you. She is a multidimensional healer, light language channel, transformation coach, wife and mother, committed to helping you discover the tools and practices to empower you to live the best life you can. You get to choose the spirit path you take. You can connect to the spiritual guidance already all around you. Get ready to live a fully empowered life. This is the Empower Me Show.
Welcome back to the Empower Me Show. My name is Pam Bright. I am here with my beautiful friend and soul sister, Amanda Smith. Welcome, Amanda, to the show. I'm so glad you're here. She is what I understand as an earth scientist, as well as an energy quantum field activator. And we're here to talk about what is this whole world of the matrix and quantum mechanics and earth activations all about. We're also going to look at the energies of May and what is stirring in this time of spring and renewal and new beginnings for us. So, as I always love to do in every show, I like to get us centered and grounded in this moment, to get us to a place of really looking within at what is going on individually for each person and in their world around them. So if you're in a place where you can close off the rest of the world right now, whatever that looks like for you, put your feet on the floor, lay on the ground, really connect in with the earth. That's really helpful to get us grounded in this moment and centered inside of yourself. So connect in with your breathing. Just connect in with your breathing. If you can close your eyes safely, go ahead and do that. Allow yourself to release from any distractions that may be pulling your attention away from this moment. And as you connect to your breath is the sacred breath of God. Whatever you think of God is, whether it's Great Spirit, Yahweh, the earth energies, the star energies, a totem animal, a spirit guide, whatever it is that you connect to is perfect for you. This is the connection of knowing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And so we bring in all of the energies of all of the guidance and support that's always available to us in every moment. And as we feel that breath going through our bodies into our lungs and breathing out, we actually inform our body systems of our commitment to being here in a body and on the earth. We chose this journey, each of us individually and each of us collectively. And so as an individual and as a part of humanity, we get to say yes to that commitment right now. And I invite each of you to connect in with your spirit guides, whatever that looks like for you, and ask them to assist you in your day right now. Anything that you need right now is available to you. And if not in this second, sometime between now and the next transmission of this show, you have the opportunity to create that, to receive that, to allow that to come in. And so have yourself an intention for today's show, which is connecting to the earth in whatever way you do, deepening that connection, allowing yourself to be a student today, and receive whatever you need. And when you're ready, you can take another deep breath, which centers right into your heart, and open your eyes and come back. Welcome back to this moment. So, Amanda, you've been on quite a journey for the last couple months since we talked last. Tell us about this beautiful landscape behind you. This is a new place for you. So tell us how this landscape showed up in your life.
Yeah, this is new for me. And I took this picture last December. So right now, everything is green and all the trees have leafed out. So it's really beautiful here. And it's so much shadier around the house than I would have thought it would be like, because when I got here, there were, all the trees were hibernating. So this place where I am, I call it the mothership because I think of it as my first creative contribution to the new food system, which I can see it. It's like I can see what could really work if we decide to shift our food timeline, basically. So this is a place where we will be growing food in a regenerative way. I've been putting out my kitchen garden this year. I'm not going with major production this year, just my kitchen garden. And it's bigger than anything I've ever had because of all the space I didn't have. And I have not disturbed the soil except for when I'm planting either the start or the seed. I don't know what's going to happen. So as you can see, the grass here is really thick. And now that it is basically, we're heading into summer, things are really tall. It's growing even more. There are all kinds of wildflowers in this lawn now. And I am not mowing. I am simply going out there with a weed eater and taking down what I need to in order to get from one place to another and avoid, things like ticks and chiggers and, stuff that makes me itch. So I'm here because I was drawn to getting into the flow. That's when we speak of the quantum and the earth energy, of which, the earth's toroidal field is part of the quantum energy.
Where is here?
Here is West Liberty, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky. So this is where I found the flow. I was in California, as you know, and there was no flow happening there. In fact, it had gotten to the point where I was so, priced for land, and there were people moving to my area because of, after COVID, people realized they could do all of this virtual work, and people from places like the Bay Area, Silicon Valley were coming with cash in hand and buying things, and I needed financing. So realtors were just going with the quick sell. Things would come on the market and be gone in 3 or 4 or 5 days. And I couldn't compete with that monetarily or with my time. And I had reached this point where I was so unhappy and so uncomfortable, and flow had just stopped. It had stopped. And this is, I was speaking of the Earth's code that is inside the Earth power grid. The first step being ease and grace. That is one of the first codes. And by codes, I mean, it's an energy. It's an energy that's offered. And the easiest way for me to describe it is with the words ease and grace. It's like the earth's DNA. And there was no ease and grace happening for me in California. And I just followed a bit of a whim, although it wasn't so much. It had been with me for a while. And who can wait? What is that? Who can see my? I don't know if I needed to see that or not. Pam sending messages. There had been just a brick wall that I hit, and I wanted ease and grace. So my first code from the earth and from the earth's power grid wasn't happening for me. And the whim that I followed was something that I'd been saying for years, which is, wow, I've looked at Kentucky. It's where I had my family. We had our family reunions. There's all this water here. It's so green. It's so pretty. If I were going to leave California, I'd move to Kentucky. And I remembered how I'd thought that to myself years ago. And I started to look in Kentucky. And this place that was so perfect just materialized.
That's wonderful. So we are going to take a little break, but when we come back, I would love to hear again. I know that you've told me before, but it would be awesome for us to presence, what is your big vision? Like, what is it? Why is it that you moved yourself from California to Kentucky to find ease and flow and have this brand new land? And talking about a garden and all of that, because that would be really awesome to have that energy available for the listeners. And then we can get into the whole world of manifesting and really working with the earth. Like the earth is our teacher, right? We're her students. And so when we come back, we're going to talk more with Amanda about that energy and why she is so passionate about this world of science and the quantum working together as a team. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Empower Me Show. I'm Pam Bright. I'm here with my dear friend and soul sister, Amanda Smith, and we're talking about science and the quantum, and what does all of that mean, and how do they work together as a couple to be able to create on this planet? So, Amanda, you were going to share with us about how you got where you are and what was the vision that came forward for you to hold and to manifest.
Well, I've already shared exactly how it was that I chose this place. But what I've seen is, and if we're going to put this in terms of energy and the quantum, where you have all these timelines, there are timelines for humanity. And as we each of us decides to choose something positive, positive story timeline, or I can be successful timeline. Let's let go of victimhood and move into empowerment timeline. This is the timeline that I'm seeing around food, is releasing the victim story and moving into empowerment. And what I have seen as the way of this future that could be, if enough of us choose it, is that food is free and food is shared. And instead of all of these large monocropped industrial agriculture farms, there are many little food hubs of people growing food in their various little climates and microclimates, and creating a diverse assortment of things that we get to come together and share. So I know that what I have out there, if it all grows, it's going to be more than we can eat, of each individual thing. And this gets to be done in a way that is working with the land instead of trying to turn the land into something it's not. So I'm not changing what's here. I have a heavy clay soil, which I'm used to working with. I'm happy to work with it. Okay. What that means is I have to keep the ground covered if I want it to stay wet. It has to be covered all the time. And that's just one of the traits of clay. It will dry out and then it'll crack, and then your plant is going to have issues. So I see us all connecting up together. And this is why I call this the mothership, because people get to come here and learn. And like over here on my property here in the backyard, that's where my little nature eco village retreat center is going to go for the people who get to come and learn how to grow food the way it's meant to be grown. If it's an understory plant, it gets to be in the understory. If it is something that grows vertically, then it gets to be grown with shrubs and trees. We get to fill up all of the space, not just the horizontal space, but the vertical space. And we get to pay attention to what things need more shade, and where can I put this where there's less sun, and what all else goes here, and how can I grow food and mitigate the problem that I have with my bank sliding down into the driveway. I get to put elderberries out there and rosemary bushes, things that I can eat, but they're perennials, and it's going to keep the soil on the bank instead of slowly drifting down into the driveway that goes up to my barn. I already have, I have plans for mitigating that. That's going to bring food resources to the farm. So all of these things, like fixing the landscape, also gets to include things we can eat, things that are good for us. Elderberries are medicinal. We can make wine. Here in Kentucky, we make wine out of blackberries and elderberries and cranberries, not grapes. And blueberries, and yum, I get to have blueberries. Those like to be around a tree. So, not like rows and rows of blueberries. It's going to be like the fruit tree blueberry zone that's going to go up on the hillside. So that's kind of a long version of what I'm envisioning, and how we can utilize all the space and create an ecosystem that's going to promote happy insects, happy bird life, bring in predator birds, and maybe even have like coyotes that are going to bring down the gopher squirrel population. So, wow. It's all about creating a system that works together, and learning and having people come here, learn how to do that, then take it home and do it for themselves, and then share, and perhaps become a teacher also.
That's beautiful. So, yeah. Okay, so will you be teaching people that come there to learn from you? How do you handle the difference in climate and difference in the whole ecosystem of different states in the country?
You have to learn your spot. You do have to learn it. I'm learning here, in California, I could like start growing something whenever I wanted, because I lived at the beach and I basically had a year-round growing season. And, I had arugula growing that never died. I had kale growing that never died. So it's always taking into consideration, what are the details? So I'm learning how to grow in a growing season. When do I start? When do I start something? I have to read and educate myself. Oh, I can start this 6 weeks before the last frost inside, and then I can plant it. Some things they say, oh yeah, you can direct sow after the last frost is going to happen. So I had to familiarize myself and pay attention to the weather. So it's observation. So one of the things that I'm doing here is observing what I have to work with and how it behaves. And I am paying attention to the weather, and we are well past the last frost. So the last
Okay.
frost happened like early May, end of April at some point. And then everything has just been nice and toasty ever since. So there is a learning curve for each person where they are. If they're coming from further north than me, significantly, then they're going to be dealing with a longer day. They'll be in the summertime. They'll be dealing with more sunlight hours. So that means if you have annuals that only want 8 hours of sun a day, or you're going to fry them, where do you put them? So you have to think about those things. So
Okay.
I will just be helping people understand, what are the things that could be different between here and where you are that you get to pay attention to.
Perfect, because was my next question is, so will you in your educational school ground have ways to Zoom with other people or talk to other people as they're navigating this new way of creating prosperity for the world?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, aren't we all like Zooming with our services now?
We are, yeah.
That's the new age of communication that's happening. So I could be global. Yeah, all of us can be global. We can all have a global influence.
That's great. So that's the big vision of the creation. Great.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you shared with me is that we're looking at the matrix of the way we've been living versus creating in the quantum. So can you talk a little bit about what you mean with that and how do we do that?
Yeah. So I view the matrix, actually it's part of the quantum, because it is in the energy. It includes belief systems, philosophies, what we think is possible, and most importantly, what is there that I feel, that I'm sure a lot of us feel and didn't realize how heavily influenced we have been, is fear, lack, victimhood. That is the story of what we live in. And the matrix is simply a representation of what we think is our reality. So we are, in fact, creating it. We are participating in its creation, although it does have a consciousness and it is invested in us believing this, because if we stop believing it, it turns into something else.
Okay. So do you have a process for someone, like if I was unsure about how to shift that, do you have a process for how to start accessing our belief system around it? Like, what do I believe? How do I get out of that world of fear, lack, and victimhood to something else?
Yeah. So actually it's the connection. So when you spend all of your time only connecting with what people think, or your gadgets that you have. Our computers, our devices are really important for how we function now. And at the same time, they're going to bring you information that's always bad news. So it's really important, if you want to hear and feel the truth, is to connect, much like we did at the beginning here. It's connect with the source. Know that there is a pure source that's inside the pattern of the matrix. It's there. You just have to imagine it, see it, vision it, and go to that source. And it's all intention. And one of the best ways that we can change this energy for people that maybe they don't believe that that's possible. They have absolutely zero conception around what is energy, what is the matrix, what is this illusion that we're in that simply looks like it does because we expect it to look that way. what you do is you go in as you did in the beginning with your breath, with your heart, because your heart is the oneness. That's your doorway to the oneness, which is the ultimate, the ultimate source, the source of pure love. Where if we could expand past what's here, the layers that are here from the physical on up, we would go back to that actual source, that oneness, where it's simply love. You connect with that. And as you do your breathing, you bring that in. And as you breathe out, you intentionally breathe the love into the matrix. So when you do that, you're shifting it.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So what would be awesome when we come back is I know you do activations, earth activations. So I'd love to hear more about that when we come back. And we're going to try and get all of these things kind of connected together. So in a package for you who are listeners here, and know that I have opened up the phone lines in every show now. So if you have a question for Amanda, or you want to know more about something she's shared with you already, please go ahead and call 1-800-930-2819 so that she can assist you. And especially if you want to be part of her Earth School that she is creating in Kentucky, want to know more about how to be your own producer of sustainable life and food, then go ahead and call and talk to her about what's next for you. That's 1-800-930-2819. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright, and I'm here with my dear soul sister, Amanda Smith, and she's talking about Earth codes, the matrix, and quantum mechanics, as well as she's creating a sustainable food supply school, if you will. I don't know exactly how to put it all together, but she does, and that's what's great about what she's doing, because she is a global thinker and she is a visionary. And so we are bringing energy and earth together, and science and the quantum together into one show. So that's a lot to kind of digest, but we're going to try and kind of piecemeal it out so that it makes sense to you, the listener. So Amanda, you work with activating the earth. What exactly do you mean by that, and how does that look for your work?
So what I mean by that is actually accessing the pure source codes that are here. So we already talked about how the matrix is that representation that's fear, lack, victimhood, that tells us the story of like how hard it is to live here in this space, when the pure code of source is it's easy, it's empowerment. And with the earth codes, it's the same deal. So these are codes that I have discovered by just being with the earth, by beginning to do earth activations. So I call them that because it actually brings them up and out. So it's like drilling a well, and then the water comes to the surface, whereas before it was down there somewhere hidden there, but not accessible to everybody. So that's what it's like. So the things that are here that we are creating with right now are greed, hoarding, and power over others. So that's what we are tapping into to create, because we think if we don't hoard and we're not greedy, there won't be enough for us, because there's just not enough to go around. There isn't enough for everybody. So somebody has to have it all, and somebody else, doesn't have anything. So that's not true. What we actually have, what the real codes are of the earth, are ease, grace, cooperation, collaboration, abundance, and sovereignty. I'm just going to say that again. This is the order that they go into when you first begin to discover the actual energy of the earth: ease and grace, cooperation, collaboration, abundance, and sovereignty. So as I was doing these earth activations, just simply going in and looking in to see what was there and then bring it out. So it's not like I was actually making anything happen, basically just opening a door and letting it flow. And as I did more of those, these were the things that kept repeating themselves. And different places might have more of one thing than another. And that would be their message, their coding, what they were meant to be showing us. So when we sit and meditate with a particular spot, and you don't have to be there. I've done so many activations just all over the planet. You just simply go in, look for what's there, and allow it to come up and out, and allow it to move into the earth's toroidal field. So that toroidal field, so if you imagine, like, here's the center of the earth. The energy goes down through the earth's core, comes out the bottom, wraps around the earth, comes back up, goes in, and in the shape of a donut. So you have this spiral effect. And it's that passage of energy through the earth's core that creates that hum, the earth's resonance. Like, some people can actually hear it. And that's called the Schumann resonance. So as we allow that energy to come up and out and go into the earth grid, the toroidal field, it changes the energy that is in, around, and humming out of the earth, creating an ascension for the earth. So you may be seeing all kinds of crazy things happening in your life, like your friends are leaving, they're moving away, or all of a sudden you don't like each other anymore. Something happens between you and you're like, that's just not going to work for me. And, and then the other person might be the one who's doing that. They may go, I just don't like that. Or as you start to feel better, people around you like grab you and want to drag you back down into the negative soup of it all because they don't recognize you anymore. So these are things that are happening. And some of us, being more connected to the earth, are going through this transformation. And it does create some loss, but it also opens doors for people and things and situations that make you feel good. So you get to follow your bliss, your heart's desire.
So I have a question for you, because when you say you're activating the earth, what comes up for me is, okay, we're connecting to the earth and we want her to be able to be heard and felt and known, right? So is it possible that the way that it's showing up as victimhood and fear and greed and lack is that the soil and the earth herself in the place we live is not activated? Like, she's not able to breathe.
That could be something that's happening. And I do want to, and I have a story around that, but I do want to also include, now that I've covered what it means to be an earth, what it means to be part of an earth activation, this is happening for us too. So when we do an earth activation, we are receiving the activation. So it helps us shift. So we get an internal shift, because our power grid is the earth power grid, is our power grid, is the universal power grid. So all of these things get to be affected in a positive way. So just to give an example of what can happen with an earth activation for a place where something healthy is not happening. A friend of mine, I did an activation for her yard, and she had a fruit tree that was always sick. It never had much fruit at all. And it had been like that for years. And we did an activation in her yard, and what came out was the abundance piece. And she told me that that year, that tree, and she said she didn't do anything to it, nothing. She didn't try to help it. It just received the activation. That tree produced more fruit than she had ever seen in her life on that location, so much that she was making, and I don't remember what kind it was, like an apricot or a plum, or it was some kind of stone fruit, I think. And she was making jam, just like hand over fist, like making jam. And she had so much, she had to give it all away.
Wow.
And the tree has maintained. It has continued. So we did that a couple of years ago.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Because that's what's occurring to me is that, when enough people get on the same consciousness around we're all one, right? Mm-hmm. What if we were to create life in us that really took responsibility for the earth and ourselves as connected, right? There's one of the songs that I learned years ago in circles, in women's circles, in mixed circles, is the earth is our mother. We must take care of her.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if we really took that on as a reality, how would our lives change?
They would be so amazing, because when we take care of her, she takes care of us. So we move from a taking perspective when it comes to what comes out of the earth and offers us resources to a receiving perspective. So we only receive what she has to give, and she has so much more to give than what we're taking from her. And it's because we are not paying attention to how she does it. And the way she does it creates all of this flourishing on the earth, and that it's through diversity. Mm-hmm. And it's through other types of patterns of flow and energy, like with water and air, the way they work. If we were to pay attention to these things and how they work together and allow it to be like that and enhance it, instead of trying to change things and not really be connected and not really be part of what is going on, not paying any attention to what the optimum way is of doing and being and receiving from the earth. If we were to do that, everybody would have ease, grace, cooperation, collaboration, abundance, and sovereignty. Everybody.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it would be wonderful for us as a collective group right now to connect in with the love that is available when we connect not only to our own hearts, but the heart of Gaia, and bring that love into reality right now. Would you be willing to work with us with that a little bit before we end?
Yeah.
So yeah. Take it away.
Do we have time to do that right now?
Or... Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I'd like everybody to do is remember how Pam had us connected in our hearts. Breathe through your heart. And in your heart space, remember that is your connection to the universe, to the all, and that is pure love. And then know that you are connected to the above and the below through your crown and through your feet. And this creates a balanced connection of the divine masculine and feminine that's just flowing through you. And from that balanced place, each breath that you breathe out with love from the universe goes into the earth, into the earth's power grid, into the matrix that is here, sending love, raising the vibration. And I would recommend everybody just continue to do this through the break. Sending love, let it flow through you. You get to absorb it in every cell of your body, on all levels, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, in all dimensions, all timelines, for us and for the earth. Going out through the front of your heart, into the earth's toroidal field, bringing up the vibration of the earth for us all.
So I'm going to tone a little bit. I'm going to give you some light language, folks, to ride this a little bit. And we're just going to do this until just for a couple minutes, and then we're going to end after we come back with some information from Amanda about how to connect with her. Nana yake sana iki china maikia asana I chena maikia sanai ushana mai shena mai si unta anta inde nana gina mayaka nuno asana iki anamakia kaya e chena ashantaya sina ye na ise nama yekia hu nasana gina maiki na ichena mayechana isana nai yekalane chena na yasanaki ana yese nana ye. Knowing that you are connected fully with the earth and the earth with you, she will respond to your love. She will connect her love to your love, and then expanding that out to the rest of the world. And again, with a nice deep breath coming into your lungs, connecting to your heart, go ahead and open your eyes and come back. And I would love to hear, Amanda, you've got a summit coming up in a couple of months, right?
Yes, I do.
So why don't you tell us about that?
So the summit is called the What, How, When of the Quantum, creating balanced health, abundance financially, and other amazing surprises. So it's launching on July 11th. It's a little later than I had expected, but I have a speaker that I really wanted, and I'm working with her timeline. So it's going to be advertised the 2 weeks prior to the 11th, and you can, if you're interested in learning more about what we get to change about our state of being, or how we get to tap in better to what is here to serve us through the quantum field. If you want to make a big quantum leap and you'd like to understand how to do that, the easiest thing to do would be to go to my website at www.theactivatedearth.com. It's all one word, lowercase. And when you scroll to the bottom, there's an option for a free gift that pops up. You sign up for my email list, you get the gift, and then you will get the invitation to the summit.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Yeah. The other option is you can go to my Facebook group, Activated Earth Codes, and it will be shared in there. You can find me on Instagram at The Activated Earth. It'll be in my bio, in my link tree on there. But if you need a reminder, going to the email list and signing up for that is going to be the easiest.
Beautiful. Wonderful. So do you do any one-on-one work with folks?
I do. Although I am developing right now, it's kind of like my brainchild right now is developing my group that is going to help other people become Earth activators.
Wonderful.
So I'm creating a circle around Earth activators. So I'm not sure how much one-on-one I will be doing, but in here coming up into the future, but it is an option.
Okay. It occurs to me that people that are part of a community, maybe a co-creation with you would be something that they might be interested in. So I know that more and more people are interested in living in community And this would be a golden opportunity for you that are interested to contact Amanda about that and what that might look like. Because we're all in it together, folks. And the more that we can realize that, the better off I think humanity will be, and the earth will appreciate it, because she will be loved and guided into communion with us rather than separation. And if you want to get a hold of me for any reason at the Empower Me Show, you can go to the empowermeshow@gmail.com. I'm always here every week with the Empower Me Show on Thursdays at noon. And please know that I will be popping up and different days and different times as well, because I have opened up my schedule to more of me to share with you, the audience. And I'm also available for one-on-ones as well as groups and special activations for you. And you can go to my website at brightbutterflyenterprises.com. I'm also on Facebook. I've got a business page, Bright Butterfly Enterprises, as well as a personal page. You can contact me there as well. But we're here for you. This is all about you, the listener and the watcher. And anytime that I'm online with you here, you can contact Transformation Talk Radio at the phone number that we gave you at 1-800-930-2819 for any of the shows that are here. You can also chat online at the same time of any show. So that's available to you folks. It's all about cooperation and collaboration. And we have just a few minutes left to share with you. So any last minute words, Amanda, that you feel would be really beneficial for folks to take away from today?
Yeah, I have been loving lately to share with people the difference between taking and receiving. So we talk a lot about, there has to be give and take, give and take, give and take. And that is an imprecise way of saying things. And yes, give is great. That's a perfect word, but take is not what we're looking to do. It's when you put yourself in a mode of receiving that opens you up to allowing. It opens you up to more possibilities when you're saying, I would like to receive abundance. So I would like to receive more friends. So you're not out actually taking, grabbing some friend from somebody else and taking that person or taking their time. What happens is you have a natural exchange of each person gets to receive the friendship. It creates a gentle openness that allows more abundance of all kinds of things. And if you could just sit back and get quiet and meditate with that and meditate on what receiving actually feels like, I think you'll understand just how much more is available when we receive rather than take.
I love that. I love that. So folks, why don't we just close our eyes for a minute and just put your hands out, palms up to the sky, and ask your soul self, your inner self, your wise self, for a mantra, a word, a new belief, an action step that you can do today to experience receiving. And just allow that to come in right now. It might feel like it just landed in your hands, or it might just be a knowing inside of you, but allow it to just show up today. Maybe not in this moment, but sometime today. allow it to show up for you. And that's a really good place to end as we wind down this day, and know that you are absolutely loved in this moment, folks, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you want any support around that knowingness that you're exactly perfect in this moment the way you are, then go ahead and contact someone who can be a support for you, because you don't ever have to do it alone, and you always have as much support as you are ready to receive for yourself. So I love you. I love you, Amanda. Thank you for sharing with us. And I think I might even sign up for your next thing that you're doing. I don't even know what it is, because I don't logically remember things, but but I will connect to you and say, okay, how am I supposed to connect with you next? So perfect. We will continue to do that. And thank you for your service on the planet. And thank you, listeners, for the service on the planet that you are taking on today. Be blessed and know that you are loved in every moment of your existence on this planet. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to learn more about living a fully empowered life. Remember that your life is up to you, and you can choose the spiritual path you are on. There is spiritual energy and wisdom in everything and everyone around you. Listen carefully for what the universe is trying to tell you in every moment. You are already being guided along your journey. Call upon your spirit guides anytime you need help with anything. Know that you are safe in every moment, even if it seems that you are not. For more information about Pam Bright, visit brightbutterflyenterprises.com or email theempowermeshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you next week.